Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Igcse Ecology Health. In today's video, I'm going to be solving the February-March 2023 Paper 2 Variant 2. This is the latest Paper 2 exam that has been released. So make sure to subscribe to my channel and like my videos in order to get more content like this one. So let's start solving. Question number 1 says, what is used as a means of classification? Now, as we all know that scientists in the past used to use morphology, which means how does the animal look like from the outside and like visible features from the animal. And then they have used anatomy, which is the internal structure of the animal from the inside. And then recently, the scientists have discovered the DNA-based sequence classification, which is the most accurate means of classification that is available to scientists right now. So our answer is going to be C. 2. How many jointed legs does an insect have? As we all know that insects have a total of 6 legs. So 6 legs means that they have 3 pairs, because as we all know that 1 pair is equal to 2 legs. So we're going to be choosing B because 3 pairs means 6 legs. 3. The photomicrograph shows a cell from a type of aquatic plant. Which labeled parts indicate that this is a plant cell? So S over here is actually the chloroplast, and Q is actually the cell wall. R is the cell membrane, and P is actually the nucleus. So 2 of the features that I have identified now are actually only in plant cells, which is chloroplast and cell wall. These 2 over here, S and Q. So our answer is going to be D. Number 4, the diagram shows a red blood cell. The actual diameter of the cell is 7 micrometers. What is the magnification? Now I'm going to be solving this question using the I-am triangle that I have explained in my paper 6 tips and tricks videos. Now the this I stands for image, the A stands for actual size, and the M stands for magnification. Now over here, the image size is actually 49 millimeters, and the diameter, the actual diameter, is actually 7 micrometers. So this is not the same units, so we have to convert either from micrometer to millimeter or from millimeter to micrometer. So there is this diagram. So over here I have drawn out this diagram which shows how to convert from centimeter until nanometer. So this one is the micrometer and this is the millimeter. So if you want to convert from millimeters to micrometers, you can multiply by 1000. Over here, I'm going to be multiplying the 49 millimeters by 1000 to convert it to micrometers, so the actual diameter and the image have the same units. So I'm going to be multiplying 49 times 1000 over 7 micrometers. This is to calculate the magnification as per the I-am triangle. Now, if you're going to divide this on the calculator, it's going to give you C, which is 7000, so that's our magnification. Number 5, which molecule crosses a partially permeable membrane during the osmosis? As we all know, osmosis is the movement of water, so it's going to be D, water. 6, the graph shows the rate of uptake of magnesium ions by 2 similar plants, X and Y. The roots of each plant were placed in a range of solution. Each solution contained a different concentration of magnesium ions. All other conditions were kept constant. What is the possible explanation for the difference in the results of the 2 plants? So over here I can see that plant X has a higher rate of uptake of magnesium ions, more than plant Y over here. So let's see the possible explanations that could explain this difference. A says plant Y has fewer protein carriers for magnesium ions in its cell membranes. Now over here, this can be a correct statement because the uptake of magnesium ions is actually by active transport. And we know that active transport depends on the protein carriers in the cell membranes. So this can be a correct statement, but let's also read the other statements. B says plant Y has a higher rate of respiration. Plant Y will have a lower rate of respiration because it has lower energy to provide for the active transport. So that means that if it has a high rate of respiration, then it should be as high as X. So plant X is supposed to have the high rate of respiration because it has higher energy and higher uptake of magnesium ions. C, plant Y has more root hair cells. Again, this is incorrect because if it has more root hair cells, then there would be more absorption of magnesium ions. So our answer is going to be A. Which substance is used to test a food for vitamin C? Of course, this is the solution of DCPIP. In DNA, what is the correct base pairing? As we all know that in DNA, the A pairs with T and the C pairs with G. You're not supposed to know what the A stands for and the T and so on. You're only supposed to know the letters. So let's read the options. T with C, this is incorrect. T with T, this is incorrect. T with G, this is also incorrect. So D is going to be a correct answer because A actually binds with the T and T binds with the A. 9. What remains at the end of an enzyme-controlled reaction? Well, at the end of the enzyme-controlled reaction, we are supposed to have enzymes released, so products only is incorrect. And this is because, as we all know, that enzyme is a biological catalyst, which means the enzymes would remain at the end of the reaction unchanged. They will not change. The concentration of the enzyme will remain the same. It will be just like it didn't go through any reaction. So the reaction will produce products because the enzyme substrate complex will forming products, and the substrate will be broken down to form products. So enzymes and substrates is an incorrect answer, and enzymes only is also an incorrect answer. So our answer is going to be A. 10. Which feature explains the specificity of an enzyme? Now this question is asking basically what is the feature of an enzyme that makes it special or stand out from other enzymes. So let's read the options. A says complementary shape of an active site and substrate. Now this is something that could make an enzyme be distinguished from another enzyme because all the enzymes have unique active site shapes. No enzyme has the same active site shape as another enzyme, so only the substrate can bind to one type of enzyme, and the substrate cannot bind to many enzymes at a time. So A could be an answer over here, but let's read the other options. B says denaturation at certain pH values. Now, of course, enzymes can share a pH value where they will all be denatured. Like the value where the enzyme will denature is not something special to one enzyme only. Many enzymes will have pH where they will denature, and many enzymes also share the optimum temperature, which is also stated in C. The temperature and pH values are not something special to one enzyme. Our answer is going to be A. 11. A plant is placed in the dark until all its stored starch is used up. The plant is placed in light with black paper over one part of the leaf, of the green leaf. After 8 hours, the leaf is tested for starch. Which diagram shows the appearance of the leaf after this test? Now, over here, it shows that there is a black paper over both sides of the leaf. Over here, this side, so the leaf is covered from the bottom side and also from the upper side over here, as it's shown in this picture. And they left a hole in the black paper. They left the rest of the leaf uncovered with they left it like uncovered. So let's see. Over here, when you cover the leaf over here, when you cover it, then the starch will be used up. This is because there is no photosynthesis occurring, so the plant will need glucose to survive, so it will break down its starch and it will release glucose so it can survive in the dark. Meanwhile, the part that is uncovered, this part, it will have photosynthesis as normal and will produce glucose, and if it doesn't need the glucose at this time, it will create starch storage, so there will be starch over here in the uncovered part. So we're going to be choosing a part over here where the starch present is going to be on the area that is uncovered. So the uncovered areas are the square over here, and this part, this is the uncovered area, this is also the uncovered area. So the yellow parts are supposed to be the green part, because the starch is going to be present because there is photosynthesis. Meanwhile, the black parts that are covered will have no starch. So this is exactly B. 12. The diagram shows part of a cross-section of a leaf. Which row shows the correct labels? So over here, this part labeled R is actually the cuticle, and S is the palisade mesophyll layer, and T is the spongy mesophyll layer. So they're asking about the labels. So we're going to be choosing R as the cuticle, and S as the palisade mesophyll, and T as the spongy mesophyll. So our answer is going to be A. The diagram shows different types of human teeth. Which teeth are used for grinding food? As we all know that the premolar and the molar teeth are used for grinding. So we're going to be choosing 3, which is the molar, and this is the premolar, which is 1. So we're going to be choosing the ticks on 1 and 3 only. So the answer is going to be A. 14. The diagram shows a villus structure. P and Q absorb different products of digestion. Which rows identifies the products absorbed by P and Q? Here in P, the glucose is going to be absorbed in this area. And Q, which is this area over here, it's going to be the fatty acids inside. So our answer is going to be C. 15. The arrow shows the movement of substances from the soil into a root hair cell. Which substances move from the soil into the root hair cell? Now, as we all know that from the soil, there is going to be from the soil water and mineral ions. So our answer is going to be D, because the plant will actually absorb from the soil water and minerals so it can grow. 16. By which process does water escape from the stomata in the leaves? This is going to be B, diffusion. 17. Which row about the circulatory system is correct? The part that pumps blood is actually the heart, and the part with valves is actually the heart and the veins, because as we all know that the veins has valves and also the heart has valves, such as the semilunar valves and the atrioventricular valves, such as the bicuspid and the tricuspid valves. So our answer is going to be A. 18. The graph shows pressure changes that take place in the right atrium, right ventricle, and left ventricle of a human heart when the muscle walls contract and relax. What is the pressure in the right ventricle when the left ventricle is at maximum pressure? Now, the left ventricle has overall the highest maximum pressure, so we're going to be following this dotted line over here, this line. So this maximum or the peak of this is actually somewhere over here. So I'm just going to draw a line from this area to the bottom so I can exactly see where is this the peak of it. So it's somewhere right here. So this is the maximum pressure of the left ventricle, this one. So let's see, the right ventricle is the one below it over here, because we know that the right ventricle has the second highest pressure in the heart. So this is, let's see, the pressure over here is the y-axis. So let's see, over here we're going to draw a line from this peak of the right ventricle, and we have to count the number over here of each one square over here. We'll be calculating it. We're going to be dividing 2 over 5 to find out the number of each small square. This small square, I mean. So I got it as 0.4. So this is 0.4 and this is 0.8 and so on. You're going to be adding 0.4 each time. So this is what we got over here. This is 0.8. So over here it's around 3 3 kilopascal over here. It's exactly right in the middle between the 2 and the 4, after the 2.8. So this is 3 kilopascal. So our answer is going to be C. 19. The sequence of amino acids in antibodies enables them to complete which function? As we all know that the sequence of amino acids will produce specific antibodies that will bind with specific antigens. So if the antigen is unknown, the antibody will kill that cell or will kill that unknown bacteria that entered the body. So our answer is going to be A. 20. The table shows some of the changes that occur during breathing. Which changes occur to cause inspiration? Now we know that if we want to do inspiration, the diaphragm is going to contract, and the external intercostal muscles will have to contract as well, and the internal intercostal is always the opposite of the external intercostal, is going to be relaxed. So we're going to be choosing X, Y, and R, which is C. So our answer is going to be C over here. 21. The apparatus shown was used to investigate aerobic respiration in seeds. The apparatus was placed in a dark room. All environmental conditions were kept constant. What will happen in the apparatus? So over here there is some seeds that are soaked in water in the apparatus over here, and there is a wire mesh and chemical which absorb the gas produced by seeds. So they want to see the direction of the colored liquid. Will it move towards the seeds? So towards the seed is the left side, and away from the seeds is the right side over here. So the seeds will actually produce carbon dioxide. So the chemical which will absorb the gas produced by the seeds is actually carbon dioxide. They will perform respiration so they can grow and produce glucose and energy. So the gas taken in by the seeds is actually oxygen, because it's going to be respiration. And the gas absorbed by the chemical, as I explained now, is carbon dioxide, because there is respiration, and the direction of the colored liquid will go towards the seeds, because the seeds are absorbing oxygen from the outside, and there is absorption of carbon dioxide over here. So there is a higher pressure from the seeds. They create a higher pressure to the inside because they absorb oxygen. So our answer is going to be C. 22. Why is yeast used in bread making? The yeast is producing anaerobic respiration, which produces carbon dioxide, which helps in the baking process of the bread, and it helps to inflate the bread. So our answer is going to be D. 23. In the diagram, which label identifies the urethra? Now this is actually C, because as we all know that the urethra transports the urine from the bladder. 24. The diagram shows a reflex arc. Which label identifies the motor neuron? The motor neuron is over here, so it's going to be B. 25. Which structures contain neurotransmitter molecules in neurons? Neurotransmitter molecules are actually in the vesicles, so our answer is going to be D. 26. The diagram shows a seedling growing inside a dark box. Which type of response affects the direction of growth of the root and the shoot inside the box? Now over here we can see that the seedling is growing in a dark box, so that means that there is no light, so there is no phototropism, so there is only gravitropism right now. So the answer is going to be A, because there is no light coming from anywhere inside the box. 27. Why is MRSA infection difficult to treat? When an infection is difficult to treat, it is because it has a high resistance to most of the antibiotics. There is very few antibiotics that the MRSA infection is not resistant to. So the answer is going to be C. 28. What is the order of flower parts through which the pollen tube must grow to reach the egg cell nucleus during fertilization? Where first of all, the stigma is the beginning of the fertilization process. The pollen grain will stick onto the stigma, and then it will go to the style, create a pollen tube, which will allow the male gamete to reach into the ovule inside of the ovary of the plant. So the answer is going to be B. 29. Which diagram showing the exchange of products between mother and fetus is correctly labeled? So let's see A. A is correctly labeled over here. This part is actually the placenta, and this part is actually incorrectly labeled because the nutrients are supposed to go to the growing fetus, not out from the growing fetus. So this is an incorrect label. Let's check the other one. This is incorrect because this is not the umbilical cord. This is the umbilical cord over here. So this is also incorrect. It's supposed to be the placenta. Let's see C. C over here is also incorrectly labeled because this is not the umbilical cord. This is the placenta over here. Let's see D over here. D, it's correctly labeled. This part is the placenta. The waste products are going from the fetus into the mother's blood, and only the nutrients are entering to the growing fetus. So far this is correct, and this is indeed the umbilical cord, as I have said from a second ago. So D is going to be our correct answer. Which statement about the senses of a protein molecule in a cell is correct? So let's see our options. A says that the gene coding for the protein moves from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. Of course, this is incorrect because the DNA never moves from its place. It's always in the nucleus inside in the cytoplasm. So B says that the ribosomes assemble amino acids into DNA molecules. This is incorrect because amino acids are not assembled into DNA molecules, they are assembled into proteins. C, mRNA remains in the nucleus. This is incorrect because the DNA is the only thing that remains in the nucleus. D, the sequence of amino acids is determined by the sequence of bases in the mRNA. This is, of course, correct because the mRNA is a copy of the bases on the DNA that are needed to produce proteins. So this is the correct answer. 31. Each statement describes cell division by mitosis or meiosis in humans. Which statement describes meiosis? Let's see the statements over here. 1, it says it produces cells that show variation. Now, this is a correct statement. 2, it says it produces cells that are diploid. This is incorrect. It produces cells that are haploid. So this is the correct statement. It involves reduction division. This is also correct. So our answer is going to be D. In humans, what is the genotype of a red-green colorblind male? Now, this is actually going to be D because it contains the recessive allele on the X chromosome, and we all know that the male doesn't have XX. XX belongs to the females. So, of course, B and A are incorrect. C is incorrect because XR dominant doesn't have the color blindness allele. It's only on the recessive over here. 33. Which feature is found in a hydrophytic plant? A says leaves are curled with stomata on the inside. This is incorrect because stomata is only on the upper surface. And B says leaves are reduced to spines. This is incorrect because, as we all know, that the leaves in the hydrophytic plants have large surface area, so they can float and they can attract the highest amount of sunlight, so they can do the photosynthesis. And C says the stomata are sunk in pits in the epidermis. Of course, this is incorrect. The stomata are found on the upper side. And D says there is no waxy cuticle. This is correct because there is no need to conserve the water in the hydrophytic plant because it's already in water. So the answer is going to be D. 34. Which statements are correct during both natural selection and artificial selection? 1 says only certain individuals reproduce. This is correct. 2 says alleles are passed on to the offspring. Yes, this is correct. And 3 says organisms do not compete with each other for survival. This is incorrect because natural selection and artificial selection are based on competition between the animals, and also it is based on the changes in the environment. If the animal is, or the organism is adapted to live in its new environment, or it's adapted to be in competition with others and it's going to survive. So it is based on competition. So 3 is incorrect. So our answer is going to be A, 1 and 2 only. 35, the diagram shows a food chain. Which diagram shows a pyramid of energy for this food chain? Now, let's see over here. Over here, the phytoplankton is the first in this food chain. It is the producer. So it's going to be at the bottom. So this is incorrect. Now, the zooplankton is also going to be at the top of the phytoplankton. So we are choosing between A and C over here. A is not correct because the zooplankton is not supposed to have the most energy in the whole food chain, because the most energy belongs to the producer, which is usually a plant. So C is going to be a correct answer. 36, in the nitrogen cycle, what are processes 1 and 2? Now over here, process 1 shows that the nitrogen in the atmosphere is transferred into plant protein. This is actually nitrogen fixation, and process 2 is showing that the nitrates in the soil is transferred into nitrogen in the atmosphere. This is, of course, the process of denitrification. So our answer is going to be D. 37, untreated sewage is accidentally released into a river for several weeks. How will this affect the number of bacteria, the oxygen concentration of the water, and the number of fish? Now, if we leave untreated sewage in the river, then eutrophication will occur. So this will cause the number of bacteria to increase, and this will cause also the oxygen concentration to decrease, as this bacteria will aerobically respire. When the bacteria aerobically respires, then they will take away the oxygen concentration in the water. They will reduce the oxygen in the water, and then there will be less oxygen available for the fish to breathe. So there's going to be a decrease in the number of fish. So this is all going to be B. 38, fish stocks can be conserved in various ways. Which method of conservation ensures that mainly large fish are caught? Now, A says having closed seasons will actually not affect the size of the fish that is being caught, and also having protected areas. Protected areas will still not help in the size of the fish that is being caught. It will only help in the amount of fish that is being caught, not the size of the fish. C, having a minimum mesh size for the nets. This is correct because minimum or small mesh size of the nets will only allow large fish to be caught, and this will allow small fish to go through. So our answer is going to be C. And let's see D as well. D says setting legal fish quotas. Of course, this will not also affect the type or the size of the fish being caught. 39, which component of bacteria is genetically modified to produce human insulin? Of course, this is the plasmids. Fermenters must have carefully controlled conditions. Which condition has the correct reason for controlling it? A says supply of amino acids for carbohydrate synthesis. This is incorrect because amino acids help in the synthesis of the proteins, not carbohydrates. Now, B says supply of glucose, waste product to be removed. This is incorrect because glucose is not a waste product, and this is actually what we are collecting from the fermenters. C, supply of oxygen for anaerobic respiration. This is incorrect. Anaerobic respiration is respiration that occurs without oxygen being present, so this is also incorrect. D says pH to be optimum for enzyme activity. Now this is correct because enzyme activity depends on the pH that is in the fermenter, and if there is optimum pH, then there will be the highest rate of reaction possible. So our answer is going to be D. This was the end of our exam. This exam was average exam. If you have been solving a lot of questions, then this exam will be pretty easy for you. And I wish you all the best of luck in your exams. And if you have any questions, you may write them down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe and like my videos to support and get more content like this. Thank you for watching.